So we're changing out the window regulator on a 2003 350Z Nissan. Again, this is the first generation 350Z. This is the second time we've got this thing apart, so we're a little smarter now. And what we realized is, let's turn that thing around. What we realized is this vapor barrier and window regulator. Let's look at this side. And window regulator, right, can come off as one piece, including the motor, obviously. Can just come off the door as one piece. You do not need to take the gold, take the gold nuts and screws out of the vapor barrier. All you have to do is take all the green screws, right, which are all the way around the perimeter here, and disconnect your wiring harness. Obviously unplug it and take the clips out, which, you know, clip it to the vapor barrier. Once you do that, then the whole thing comes off as one assembly.
You gotta open these and take the window off.
Good call, Dave. So these little vinyl sticker things.
These two and this one.
This one, and this one. Take those off first, and then you expose green bolts that hold the window to the window regulator. So, you know, you roll the window down. We didn't video any of this, unfortunately, but you roll the window down after you take those stickers off, and that'll line up the screws. You take the screws out, right? The screws hold the window via these plastic clips that are on the window to the regulator. Yeah, we're kind of doing this all out of order, but we're videotaping this out of order. Bottom line is, take the screws out, pull the glass out, right? You pull the glass out, then you take all the green screws out that are around the perimeter of the vapor barrier, disconnect your wiring harness, as I mentioned, and this whole thing comes out as one piece. Now you can work on it on your bench, on the floor, whatever. Disconnect the window regulator from it via all of these gold nuts and bolts. Put your new regulator on. Put the vapor barrier and window regulator as one assembly back on the door. You're good to go. This is the absolute best way to do it. We did it a different way last time, via taking all of this stuff out and, you know, essentially taking the vapor barrier off, and the regulator was left inside the door. You don't want to do that, it's a pain in the butt. So just wanted to videotape this for people. Here you go. Okay, my friend is busy taking all the gold colored nuts and bolts out. Disconnect the regulator from the vapor barrier. But as you can see, he can work on this separately. While it's not on the car, it's a whole hell of a lot easier. And we'll come back once all the nuts are out. So those three in the middle that he's removing right now, those hold the motor in, the window motor. Essentially, it's very simple, very easy to remember. The green heads hold the vapor barrier to the door. The gold bolts and nuts hold the regulator to the vapor barrier. Simple, straightforward. That's all you gotta know. Okay. Now he's disconnecting. Looks like there's a little plastic clip where the wire was holding the wire on. Okay, he's pulling the connector. Yeah, there's plenty of plastic clips holding things in place here, so he's just pushing that through. Bam. And there it is, naked vapor barrier. All right, so now we're gonna put the new regulator on. This is the old regulator, and just to show you, right, so just flipping this guy over to match the way that the new one is laid out. Really quickly, I wanted to point out why we're replacing this regulator. Aside from the symptoms, you can see right there that there are stress fractures in this plastic component here. So as, oh, and right there too. So as the weight of the window and the load from the cables and everything gets put on this thing, that plastic, it you know, opens up, I guess, right? Okay. So otherwise, I don't know that I necessarily found any other issues with this regulator, but who knows? We'll see how the new one performs. The old one makes a loud bang when you hit the down, right? When you try to go down, every time you hit down and stop, it makes a big bang. Clunk. Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Oh, wow.
So,
Whoa.
what's up? What's wrong?
Completely loose.
Oh, really? Are they? I wonder if that's the problem.
I almost guarantee it.
Maybe that is the clunk. How did we miss that last time?
I don't know. We didn't even look.
Didn't even bother checking those screws.
Nope. But
you said you replaced this motor before.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is my fault.
Okay.
This would have gone eventually.
Yes.
So it's good we did
a good idea
it.
we're doing it.
But this was my problem. 100% guaranteed.
Yeah. So the screws were loose. That's probably what was making the clunk or the bang that I described earlier. All right. Well. So removing the screws, take the motor out. I'm gonna swap the motor onto the new regulator. Okay, so to get that motor installed, you had to. Can you show?
Oh.
You take the motor out and show what you have to do. You had to manually turn. You had to manually turn this piece with an extension, basically. What is that?
I think it's half inch.
3/8.
3/8.
Yeah, it's 3/8. 3/8 extension. Just turn it, line it up with the motor, the piece at the end of the motor, and that way everything lines up. You know, the screw holes to mount the motor. I mean, you basically, you have the other one laying right there. You look at the way that it's installed, and you install this thing the same exact way, but you may have to turn this, which is what we had to do, right? No big deal.
Yep.
Now you just put the screws in, and you're good to go. So we're using the little blue Loctite on the screws, since obviously we found out that they were loose
How do you get that?
from the prior installation. Replacement of the motor, because this thing, the regulator hasn't been replaced on this thing, but the motor has. So we're just going to use a little blue Loctite there on those screws. Right, so yeah, so where's this piece?
This is the original.
Oh, this is the original. Okay, so the new regulator. Oh, I see. Yeah, the new regulator doesn't come with this plastic piece. This where the window sits in here, right? So we're just gonna pull it off the old.
Well, we don't need it.
Why do you say we don't need
This already has the vertical part of the lift. This doesn't.
Oh, I see. We don't need it. Okay, so on this one it's plastic. On this one it's metal.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then same thing here. It's plastic on the original.
Plastic on the replacement.
Oh, plastic on the replacement too. Okay. Well, whatever. So motor's on. Now it's time to install the new regulator onto the vapor barrier.
Whoa, this is actually.
Yeah. So it looks like the new one, we suspect, maybe built a little bit better, which is surprising, the aftermarket. But there's like springs right there versus the old original one. Does not have that, for whatever that's worth. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and lay the vapor barrier down on top of that.
I just put these.
Oh yeah, right. You put the washers down there.
Were they on the inside? Yeah, they're on the inside.
Yeah, no, that's right. And you sort of kind of, line up all the holes. Okay, at least you have 2 bolts, it looks like, to help you with that, right? Right, actual bolts, yeah. That's the silver car, yeah. That's the silver car. That's Mommy's van. Yep. And yeah, now you just secure all the fasteners, nuts and bolts, and after that you're ready to reinstall onto the door. So now Dave's holding the motor with one hand and putting the bolts in with the other. Secure the motor to the vapor barrier. All right, there it is. Putting it back on the door. Lining up all all the holes, and this is where all the green heads go. I'd help you, Dave, but I have a baby on my lap.
Baby the camera.
And I'm operating the camera. Here we go. Putting the wiring harness back on. Just feel those little clips attaching to the vapor barrier. So they're positioned. Oh. Yep. Oops. Oh man, that sucked. We forgot to pull the wire for the motor through the hole first. And there's a grommet on there as well.
Dang it.
So now the thing has to, the vapor barrier probably has to come back off.
We'll see.
How about one of those picks that I have? Will that work? Will that help?
Maybe. So I feel the wire, but I think it's on the wrong side.
Alright, now we're actuating. Actuating the actuator. Moving the actuator up and down with the button. After plugging in the
So lining up the holes here.
button to line up the holes, yep. So that we can slide the window in and fasten the window with the green-headed bolts. Cool. Sliding the glass in. There, I see the glass. Keep going. Oh, you're off.
So it should sit on.
Go this way. Go that way a little. To your left.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Sure it's not like way up this way? Like
Oh, look. Okay, here I see one. Oh, that's weird. Maybe.
Look at this one too.
Don't see anything there.
Do you see the glass?
I see the glass.
Okay, just no screw up there.
Okay, so you guys can learn from our mistakes here, and that's really the whole point of all this YouTube video stuff. And that is that this is now the second time unnecessarily we're pulling this vapor barrier off, because there was a one of the cables needs to be secured in this white plastic clip, which is right here from this side though. Otherwise, it's right there where Dave's fingers are. Is it in there now?
Yep.
It's
I just
not
pushed it
focusing.
in.
But yeah, okay. Good Lord, focus. Focus, Danielson. There you go. All right. So now, and also we're having trouble getting that window, to sit down into the.
I think I might
where
know
it
how to
belongs.
help.
Would you say you might what?
I think I might know how to help that.
Okay.
I'd like to raise the window all the way up.
Ah, there you go. Perfect. Yep, perfect. All right, that's what we'll do. Okay, so now the regulator's all the way up, and it's should be easier to get it to sit. There we go. I'm starting to see one of them. We're gonna go ahead and peel these guys off too. See, somebody was thinking when they engineered this thing, because they made multiple locations. They provided multiple windows of opportunity, so to speak. Opportunity to do a repair, and so I'm gonna peel those vinyl stickers off real quick, and now you have access. Once again, you have access down here, but when you're reinstalling, it's easier for the window to be higher. It's easier to install the window there. Now things line up. We were having all kinds of issues. Yeah, lines up here, lines up here. Does it line up right there? Yes, it does. There it is. Now we got it. So, FYI, it's easier to install the thing when the regulator is all the way at the top. So if you're going to be doing this, probably better off just to leave these guys on instead of taking them off like we did, and instead take the top ones out. Take the bolts out, take the window out, and just work from the top. It's easier to work up there. Okay, so something that Dave was just telling me about is you're gonna, because it's a frameless door, you're gonna need to adjust this window a bit so that it properly seals here and everything is square. So he left these bolts he didn't snug them all the way. So we can adjust that, because the last time we did this, the window wasn't quite adjusted right and wasn't fitting very well when the door was closed and the window was up. So, well, I guess you can just disconnect it real quick if you need to.
Yeah.
You want to close the door, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to do? Yeah, just disconnect it and then close the door. Ah, you found a use for my pick. My 99-cent pick set from Harbor Freight.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe not. Somebody said those weren't any good.
It's not the big one. Just need something more substantial.
Really?
Shield that thing.
A Phillips?
Whatever, just needs to hit a pin. Dang it.
There it
Don't be
is.
filming this.
That's alright, mate. So take your time. We're not in a hurry. Seems like it came out a lot easier last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's close it.
Needs to come back just a tiny bit. Seems like a gap here.
Yeah, there's a gap there, huh? And this is supposed to kind of...
Yeah, usually it goes in and then rides out, so I think there's some procedure to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So usually when you open the door...
On my car, yeah, it's
since you
supposed
pull
to
the
lower a
handle-
little.
Yeah.
Okay. It probably does not doing that because the thing is not plugged in.
Yeah,
The
well-
buttons aren't plugged in.
I think
Controls.
the motor learns it,
Oh, really?
and there's a procedure to adjust it. I'll have to look at it.
Okay. Huh. Okay. On some cars, at least on my BMWs, it's just a matter of rolling it all the way down and all the way up.
Likely that's probably what it is.
Okay, so some adjustment required, but eventually you'll get it so that it's perfectly square here and everything fits just right. And so as long as the controls, the button, whatever you call it, the panel, yeah, is plugged in, then this job of when you pull the handle, the window lowers, that works. So you just have to have, we secured it with a piece of tape or whatever. But as long as that's plugged in, then everything, that part functions, where the window slightly lowers when you pull the handle, and when you shut the door, the window goes up and completely seals. So before you put the door panel on, just make those adjustments using these 3 screws. 1, 2, 3, right? We told you that we had a clunk before, right? Go ahead. Yep. So this is how it should sound. Everything is smooth. There's no clunk. This is perfectly smooth. This is how it should be. There's a B right there, or wasp or whatever. We'll take care of that in a second. All right, cool. And pretty much we're done. We're not going to show you how to put the panel back on because there's a bunch of videos out there for that. But this wraps up the power window regulator replacement on a 350Z first generation. This seems like, in our experience, the best way to do it because we've done it the other way, and it really sucked. The other way really was a 2-man job. This way, I hardly had to help Dave at all. I didn't even have to. I did, but it's a 1-man job this way. So that's it. Enjoy. Say cheese.
Cheese.